Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is one that has been highly requested by you, and that is my newborn essentials. So I did one of these videos after my first son, and I've had a lot of people requesting where I'm at right now, what I would find essential right now, especially after having a second baby, and so I'm going to dive into all of that today. It's funny because the second time around I was convinced that I didn't really use a lot of products and I didn't really find myself doing anything different, but when I went back and I watched my old newborn essentials video, a few things have changed, and then here I am on the floor with like so much stuff here with me. So I am thinking I'll do a whole separate postpartum essentials video, because as I was thinking about the items for today's video, a lot of them I realized are actually more specific to the mom and postpartum, and so I'd like to make a whole video about that as well. I do have my video on postpartum care from when I had my son, but I'd like to do a whole video just on the items specifically that would be helpful to buy for postpartum. So let me know if you'd like that, and that will be coming to you soon. There are two disclaimers that I want to give before I jump into the items in today's video, just because, you know, I know somebody's gonna say it if I don't put it out there first. So first of all, this is titled Newborn Essentials, but it's really more like things that will make life a little easier on you, things that may keep your baby comfortable. The essentials are like milk and a place to sleep and comfort from mom. That's all a baby needs to survive. So I am not by any means saying that the items in today's video are things that you desperately need, that you have to have or your baby won't make it. I'm just saying these are things that as you're preparing for the newborn phase, if you're pregnant and you're expecting and it's your first kid, or second or third, if you're just looking for things to make all of you guys a little more comfy, these things may help you out. So just want to clarify that. Second of all, every baby is different. Every mama is different. Every baby reacts differently to different things. So I'm gonna approach today's video from a general like, hey, a bouncer's like good to have, and this is the one that we used, versus telling you to buy these exact items. I'm really just sharing my experience with them, because you may see things in this video that you're like, oh, I hated that, it didn't work for me, and that's totally fine. I'm just saying that like these are what we've used, and every baby's really different. So certain things worked for my first son that didn't work for my second son, and that's okay. So just keep that in mind. If you had a different experience with some of these items, or your friend had a different experience from you, that's just kind of part of motherhood. We're all very different, and our babies are as well too. So had to get those two things out there. Just want to be super clear from the beginning, and without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, so first off, the very first item I want to mention is a boppy. Now, you will notice this boppy is still in its container, and it has been in this carrying case since I packed it to go to the hospital with my second baby. I've got to be super honest, I'm including it in this video because I relied on this thing for my first son. With my second son, my second baby, I have not taken it out once. I've not used it a single time. I think part of that is because I'm more comfortable with breastfeeding, and actually I know that's the reason why. I just feel like I can get my baby in positions better now. I'm not like learning as much. The 15 months I spent breastfeeding my first baby really prepared me to breastfeed the newborn. But my first time around, this was absolutely an essential for me. I took it to the hospital. I used it in the hospital after my baby, and then I used it every time I breastfed until he outgrew it. Like literally, we hit a point where he was too long to fit on it, and that was when I stopped using it. And I still have it. It came in this case, so I still held on to it for baby number 2. I'm still gonna hold on to it for baby number 3 because every baby's different, and I may use it that time around, but I just haven't felt the need to use it this time. But either way, a boppy I would highly recommend as an item to get for newborn life. This thing is a game changer with providing support when you're breastfeeding, with getting comfortable when you're breastfeeding, and offering the baby support, making sure that the baby's actually horizontal and up against you, and also that you're really comfortable and your arms aren't going numb from holding a baby while feeding. It just is like so helpful. They have a lot of different colors and designs, and I think a boppy is something that you hear about that is 100% worth getting. Next up on my list is some sort of lounger, a baby lounger like this. So a lot of people will talk to you about the DockATot. I praised the DockATot so much in my first, I just feel like I'm like hanging out with my friends here, like, hey guys, love you both. I praised the DockATot so much after my first baby. We really did rely on this so much. For whatever reason, my second kid did not like it. Like, he doesn't, I think it's his acid reflux and colic and all that stuff. He just didn't like laying down at all. So I'll talk a little bit more about like what worked for him, but the DockATot he just wasn't really a fan of. But Christian used this again until he outgrew it, until he got too big for it. I love the DockATot because it has a lot of extra padding. I just washed mine, so the padding is like a little frumpy, but it's got this whole layer under here that's basically a pillow on the bottom that keeps him really comfortable. So I can lay the DockATot on the floor or on the bathroom floor where it's rock hard, or wherever I may be. If you just need a pee break or you need to shower, you can lay them in this on the floor and they're still getting a ton of cushion and a ton of support, and you don't have to worry about it being too hard for them. Plus the sides really give them that like cozy feeling like they're in the womb. I do love the DockATot, and we did use it for Arlo when he was home for the first like week or two, but he just wasn't really a big fan. He did, however, like the Snuggle Me. So I got the Snuggle Me this time around, honestly, because I just wanted to try it. Like, I knew I liked the DockATot, but I have seen this all over the place and I just wanted to see what it was like, and I really love it. The one thing I really like comparing the two is that the Snuggle Me is much easier to take care of and wash, in my opinion. The DockATot, you unzip and remove the cover the same way, but when you wash it and you put the cover back on, it's very hard to stuff all the stuffing back in there, and I've never really gotten it to its same plushness as it was when I bought it. It's still plush, but it's not the same shape. Like I mentioned, it's like kind of frumpy. You kind of got to use it a lot again to get it back to that shape. With the Snuggle Me, you just get the mat, like the cushion on its own like this, and then you can buy an additional cover like I did here to put over it, but the cover is super easy to take off, throw in the washer, throw it back on. I think the fabric is also much softer for the baby itself, so if he's laying directly on this, I know he's comfortable. It's also organic fabrication, and they have a bunch of different colors. It's also a much more affordable price point. I think this was around $100 and the DockATot is $175. So just to give you guys a little bit of background on that, Boppy also makes a form of like a newborn pillow, but basically some sort of flat pillow lounger like this is just a necessity to me, because you need to put your baby down. At some point you need to put your baby down, and even if you don't want to, for your sanity and your bladder, you've got to, and so these things are really big help in that way. The next thing I'll mention, speaking of putting the baby down, is a form of a bouncer. So I showed this bouncer in my Bye Bye Baby haul, and I'm hugging it like a friend because I love this thing. Now, Arlo is particular with how we set him up. Christian had a bouncer, I think by like Fisher-Price or something, that he wore to the ground, and I always get questions about where we got that bouncer, and they actually don't make it anymore, and so I can never find the link because they don't make it, but Christian loved it, and he would kick his foot in it from the time he was like, you know, a couple months old, and he just truly wore it out. With Arlo, we tried a bouncer, we tried a big baby swing, we tried a little baby swing, we tried a bassinet like that we have in the living room, and he just didn't like any of it. So we got this one because it had great reviews, and it honestly just looked a little more simple to us, and he loves it. So this thing is pricey, I will admit. This was like $200, which is crazy to me. Like $200 for a bouncer is nuts when they have some for like 60 bucks on the market. But I will say, for our child, he is a particular baby, and this is the only bouncer, the only thing like a bouncer that he will actually sit in for an extended amount of time. This one by Baby Bjorn is super comfortable for him. You can adjust the settings on the back right here, so you can adjust whether like the incline, whether he's like further back, or as they get older you can like shift them up. Supposedly you can even use it up until 2, because you can flip it upside down and have this part be like a seat for them. So I am actually really happy we got this. I think if it's in your price point, it's totally one I would recommend. Again, I'm not saying it's essential for your baby to survive, but if you're in a similar situation to us where your baby is not handling other types of bouncers, well, then this might be one for you. I've also heard from other people who have gotten it who loved it too. So either way, whatever one you go with, a bouncer is super helpful when they're a newborn because it helps them kind of get familiar with sitting up, but they're not sitting up. It gives them a different view of the world and also keeps them comfortable, and again, gives you the space you need to be able to do the dishes or take a bathroom break and know that your baby is still in good hands too. All right, next up we're going to talk about pacifiers. So pacifiers are a newborn essential to me. Again, they're something that not everybody or not every baby might take. Funny enough, neither one of my babies really liked pacifiers. Christian used them for like the first few weeks, and the ones I swore by with him were these Avent ones. These are the ones that you'll get in the hospital. These are the ones that are supposedly, you know, medical grade, and they're safe, and we heard from the pediatrician that the way that the pacifier is formed at this point is, you know, not gonna create teeth problems or anything like that. So we have a bunch of these that I stocked up on for both boys. Ryan and Rose also make some great pacifiers that are really adorable. This is also a Ryan and Rose pacifier holder. I have several of these, and Arlo took these for a while actually. He liked these a lot. To me, they are like the Avent ones. The shapes actually look pretty identical, but they're just a little stiffer. They also have the rounded handle right here, so as babies learn to like grip things, they can actually hold on to that themselves, which makes it a lot more easy to use, whereas this might not have something for them to grip all on its own like this. So Arlo actually, even when he was just a few days old, he would reach for this little rounded handle and hold it in his mouth. He liked that a lot. Another brand that I wanted to talk to you guys about that we like a lot is Itsy Ritsy. You can get these at Target for super affordable. They're really like $7 or something each. I don't know. But we got these for Arlo, and this was another kind that he would only take. It's funny, he kind of bounced back and forth between the Ryan and Rose and the Itsy Ritsy. They're both very similar. The Itsy Ritsy's just a little bit more like flexible than the Ryan and Rose. It's a little more squishy, so dependent on your baby's stage or age, that may be a good or a bad thing for them. It has a similar style handle, but it's actually thicker, which I actually think the thinner one was better for Arlo in the beginning because his hands were so tiny, but as your baby gets older, they may prefer that thicker handle if you're going for a pacifier like that. Also, I get questions on this pacifier holder that has Arlo's name on it. It's a personalized one like that. I think this is so cute. I also got one for my godson nephew, or my godson nephew. This is mom brain. My godson and nephew Ezra. I got one for him for Christmas, so I'll link that down below because not saying it's a necessity, but I get a lot of questions on it. But either way, pacifiers I would definitely classify as a newborn essential. Even though none of my kids actually took them, I still think it's something that in those first few days, it's helpful. And along the same lines, bibs and burp cloths. So I found this pack of bibs on Amazon that is super cute because they're all solid colors like this. You will find a lot of bibs all over the place, but they are like really patterned and bold, and when you're getting your baby dressed, it can be hard to like make it match if you're into that. So I really liked this pack of just solid color ones, especially this one. Like, can you tell? I would probably wear this bib if I could myself. So I'll link these ones down below, but bibs in general are really helpful. Christian never slobbered that much, but Arlo is like a drooly, slobbery mess. He always has slobber and drool all over his clothes, all over my arm, whatever he's wearing. So I like to put him in a bib because then I can just do a little like dab, clean him up a little bit, and it also just keeps him comfortable, and it's so cute because when I go to put his bib on, he gets really happy. Like, you can tell he's all special and he feels great about it. Burp cloths are also a necessity because Arlo had, like I said, acid reflux. He spit up a lot. My first baby didn't do that, and so I never ever needed burp cloths with Christian. And with our second son, we definitely needed them. Anytime I burped him, I would need to get a burp cloth like this, like good to go, because he would spit up, and if I didn't have one on me, I always wished I did. These ones from Copper Pearl were actually a gift to me, but they're super good quality. They're really thick and the fabric is just so nice, so like, you know, it acts like a really cozy towel. But I really like this, and Copper Pearl is one of my favorite baby brands for things like this because they have the cutest patterns and they're all really, really good quality. Speaking of Copper Pearl, let's talk about swaddles a little bit. Some form of a blanket for swaddling your baby is definitely a necessity when they're a newborn. They want to feel cozy, they want to feel like they're still in the womb and really hugged and tight. I gotta be completely honest with you guys, neither one of my kids liked swaddles, like neither of them. No matter what we did, they would get an arm coming up, or they would break free, or they would scream, or they would cry. Christian we swaddled for longer than we did Arlo, but either way, I would get yourself some, because I have known babies and heard of babies who really rely on them all the way up until the point that they can roll over. So it's something that I would be prepared with. And for us, we always like stock up on swaddle blankets. And even if we don't use them for swaddling all the time, we use them in the stroller, or we use them just for cuddling at home, or I put them on him when I'm nursing him. So you'll definitely be able to get use out of things like that. Target has a bunch of great lightweight flannel swaddle blankets that come in a set like this. I think 4 came in there. We've only taken 1 out, so you can kind of see what the box comes like. They're really affordable, they're really lightweight, and again, they have really cute prints. Copper Pearl also makes some of my favorite swaddle blankets. So I've talked about these with Christian before because we got so many of these with him. They're a really light, like stretchy fabrication. So these were like the only blankets that we could actually get to wrap around Christian and to stay the same way they do in the hospital. I think I'm just not good at swaddling, you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. But either way, these ones are great. They have so many adorable prints on their website, and what's cool is you can get the same prints in like the swaddle blanket and a hat or a bow and a burp cloth and a bib and a car seat cover, and kind of have the whole deal be matched. But again, the quality is really nice. We've had these ones since I had Christian, and they work great, and we continue to use them with Arlo too. They're like huge. They're just the best, most awesome swaddle blankets in my opinion. But if you have a baby like ours who doesn't like to be swaddled, there's all these cool helper swaddles on the market now too. So things like this one, this is the Swaddle Up, and so this is one of those like nice little cactus looking swaddles where you can zip them in there and then they can keep their arms up like that, so that will keep them more comfortable, because like I said, our kids were always trying to like push their arm through the swaddle. So if you have a baby who will tolerate that, this could be a really good option. They're a little more pricey than your typical swaddle blanket, but they're absolutely worth it for, you know, a kid to actually stay in the swaddle. So if you're pregnant with your first, I would recommend maybe getting just one of these and seeing if they work, and if they work, then you can stock up on more, but just having one will really help you be prepared in that way. And then this is another one by Halo. This is their Sleep Sack. This is their Sleep Sack swaddle. That is so tricky to say, but this one's really lightweight, and it's another one that you Velcro over them. There's a lot like this on the market, but what I love about this is that it's like a sleep sack, so they can put their arms through it. It zips open and close, and it zips from the bottom, so you can easily open it up for diaper changes in the night, and then you just Velcro over like that to keep them nice and snug. Or you could leave their arms out and Velcro behind. Whatever you want to do, you can do a few different things with this one. But this is another good sack swaddle type thing that you can try if they're not into the typical swaddle blankets. Real quick, I want to talk about carrying your baby, because that is so important. So this time around, I fell in love with this Baby Katan, I think that's how you say it, Baby Katan wrap. You guys have seen this in my vlogs. You've seen this in multiple different videos of mine. I always get questions on it. This one was a gift to me, but you can find them on Amazon. You can find them at Bye Bye Baby. I'll have it linked down below. What I love about this one is that it's so easy to put on yourself. Like, you see how cool this is? And all you do is slip it over your head like this, and then you pull it up one shoulder at a time, and boom, baby is in there, baby is snug. I still carry Arlo in this sometimes, although he's starting to get kind of heavy for it, but it actually came with an additional piece that once the baby gets bigger, you can like wrap them up a little bit more in it. I love this because with my first son, I had trouble just getting familiar with baby wrapping. Like, when there's a ton of fabric, it can be really overwhelming, especially if you're all by yourself. And with my first, I spent a lot of time postpartum just by myself because my husband had to go back to work right away. So things like this are great because you're able to put them on all alone. And for me, that was so important. So this has been a game changer for me. I use it non-stop, would highly recommend this brand. I have heard from friends who it didn't work for them, so I'm not gonna lie to you there, but for us, we have really used it, and I get questions about it all the time. If you aren't a fan of that one though, Solly Baby is another go-to for these wraps. But but like you can see how much fabric this comes with, so you kind of got to get used to them. These ones are cool though because they have the little pocket on the side too, so when I'm wearing him in that, I like to like put my hands in the pocket. I actually have gotten familiar with them this time around with the second baby. I feel like now I can tie these more. Maybe it's just because I gave myself more of a shot. I was more patient with it. The first time though, I would try a couple wraps like these and I was like, nope, I can't do it. Like, not by myself. This time around, it's easier than I thought. There's lots of helpful videos online, but Solly Baby makes some really beautiful wraps. I love the color of this one, this like golden color, and the fabric is really comfortable. But either way, baby wearing in some sort of soft fabric like this is super essential when they're newborns, because similar to swaddling, you want to keep them close. They want to be able to feel mom. You could do skin to skin that way. You can even breastfeed in a Solly wrap if you get familiar with it that way. It also just gives you a sense of normalcy. You can do the dishes while wearing your baby, you can make dinner, you can watch TV, just walk around the house, go for a walk around the block, but it helps you get back to a little sense of yourself and is super soothing and bonding for them as well. So I love baby wearing. I love baby wearing. It's awesome, and it's just about finding the right type of wrap for you. When you are outside, a heavy duty Ergo Baby thing like this will be your go-to. I use my wraps for walks and stuff like that too, but I love a good baby carrier like this for the beach or for big walks. They're just a little more secure to me, and I feel like I don't have to think about it as much. I don't have to worry about the fabric like shifting because he's just like in there, you know? I used a Lily Baby carrier with Christian. I still have it. I still use it with Arlo, but recently I got this Ergo Baby carrier because for whatever reason, the Lily Baby, Arlo does not like it. Like, Christian loved it. Again, I carried him in it until he was like almost a year. I used to get comments from strangers who were like, wow, you're really pushing it with that, huh? And I swear by it, and I still have it and love it. But Arlo just like would not do it. Like, he's just not about it. He's more of a sensitive guy, you know? Like, he knows what he likes. It's not a lot of things. And he just lets me know how he's feeling all the time, and that's okay. That's what I love about him. But so I got this Ergo Baby one because I thought he might like that the openings down here, you can see how it just goes in a little bit more, and he actually really likes it. And I like it because it's so supportive for me. Like, look at all of this padding and structure in it. Like, you can read about it online. This is the mesh one, so this fabric right here is actually all mesh and super breathable. It's really comfortable on, it's really supportive. I don't feel like I have a bunch of straps flailing all over the place, or that it just looks, you know, sometimes you put baby carriers on and it looks like you're like suiting up for war. This feels very practical for me, but keeps me really comfortable and him really comfortable. And you can see how padded the straps are too. So on my shoulders and everything, I don't feel like it hurts my shoulders, and it helps us get like a positioning really well. I love this thing, but some form of like a more structured baby carrier will be really helpful and help support your back and your baby and you when you're out walking or doing other things like that. And of course you can use these inside at home as well. A couple other items for walks or going outside that I would recommend. This is something that is a little handy dandy fan that we started using on our walks because, oh, this feels, I didn't realize that it could go right now. It feels so good. I'm like sweating. But I just clip this to the stroller and it helps me feel so much better about having the babies out in the heat. We actually have two, so we have one for Christian and one for Arlo, so we can put them on the double stroller. They're really affordable on Amazon, but I get questions about this one a lot too, so wanted to mention it to you guys. This just will help keep them comfortable, and then the kind of like hum of the fan I also think is soothing for the baby too. Then another item that I would say is a necessity is some form of a 5-in-1 cover like this. This one is also from Copper Pearl. I love this camel color like this. What these are great for is, one, covering the car seat. When it's hot or sunny outside, you want to block the baby's face from the sun, or just give yourself privacy if you are going back before the world got kind of crazy. If you were going to like Target with your baby or just out and about and you don't want people like getting all close to your baby, you know how people love to do that. This will just give a little bit of protective layer there from the sun or strangers or whatever you need it from. So this is great for covering the car seat when you're out on walks. We use this all the time. I actually had to go get it off the car seat just for this video because we just keep it on the car seat. But it's also great for getting comfortable nursing in public. With my first, I like never wanted to nurse out in public until he got a little older because I just was getting comfortable with it. So you can wear it put it over your head like this and use it to cover up if you would like to. I'm not saying you need to do that, but if you're somebody who would feel like you would like that, then you can take this with you, cover up the car seat or yourself, just get more uses out of it too. So these are really handy. I like to keep one on the car seat, and then I also keep one folded in the diaper bag too, just so that I'm good to go and I've kind of got my bases covered all over the place there. As far as car seats go, I get asked a lot about like strollers and car seat recommendations, and being in this like business, I guess you could say that I am, I've gotten to try a lot. You guys saw when I was pregnant with Arlo, I did a review on the Graco Modes Nest stroller system. I love that. Like, we still use that all the time. It is such a great, stable, like secure stroller. I love the versatility of it. Everything I said in that video still applies to us. We actually still use it all the time, but now we use it with the car seat with just Arlo. The thing about that stroller, and I get asked this a lot, but the thing about that one is that it cannot convert to a double stroller. So for our double stroller, we actually invested in the UPPAbaby Vista. It's not for everybody. I know it's expensive. For us, we've read so many reviews and we tested them out in person, and I just fell in love with it, and we have actually really enjoyed it. So as the boys get bigger, I'll continue to fill you guys in on what we use. And again, I'm not saying that you need to buy two different strollers, one for a single, one for a double. It's just, that's kind of the position that we found ourselves in. So either of those I would recommend. If you only have one, the Graco is a much more affordable price point and is really excellent quality. I absolutely love it. If you have two, then do your research, invest in a double stroller that suits your needs the best, but we have gotten the Vista and really enjoyed it so far. Next up, I should have mentioned this when I mentioned like burp cloths and things like that, but for newborns, onesies, some form of like sleepers like this, are definitely a necessity, and the reason why is because they have feet. So regardless of when your baby is born, I have two summer babies now. One of them's like kind of a spring baby, but I've got two warm weather babies, and with both of them we still needed like long pants and foot covers. You want your baby to be more bundled up than you would be typically. And the thing with baby socks is that there's no purpose in them. They're not practical, they get lost, they fall off the baby's feet, especially when they're a newborn. What kind of sock perfectly fits a newborn? I don't know, my kids both have weird feet. One had like really plump feet and one had super lanky feet, and both of them were constantly losing socks. So I relied on sleepers like this that have the feet built into them. In addition to that, you can even get PJs that have the PJ bottoms with feet built into them as well. These are actually by Solly Baby as well, and I love them. I've like become hooked on them. They're the cutest little pajamas, so lightweight and soft and buttery. Great quality and really cute prints. They're like really high-waisted too, but the bottoms, like the pants that have the feet built in, are just a game changer. And then like this is the little top we have for Arlo too. I actually had to take these out of the garage to bring them out for this video because he has outgrown them. But yeah, any kind of sleeper like that, and then onesies too. Get yourself a bunch of just like basic onesies for a newborn, because they're gonna ruin those things. They're gonna stain them and make messes, and that's part of the beauty of it. As far as sizing goes, you know, every baby is different. Some babies come out immediately ready to wear size 0 to 3 months or 3 months, and some babies are in newborn sizes for a long time. Both my kids were born around 7 pounds, and they wore newborn sizes for the first 6 weeks or so. So I'm always going to recommend to get yourself a few newborn sizes and a few of, you know, just a little bit of each. Don't invest too much anywhere, because you never know what size your baby's going to come out. Even when doctors give you the size, it's very rarely the exact size that doctors predict. So get yourself a little bit of everything, and then when the baby's here, you can invest more where you need it. That's just my personal recommendation. I'm sure people in the comments will share all their stories too, but to me, I think that's what makes the most sense. All right, kind of another baby like gear item, I guess, is some sort of sound machine like this. So this is the one by Hatch Baby, and I've fallen in love with it. Christian loved to sleep in pure silence. Like, he didn't even want you breathing near him. But Arlo, I think, kind of likes a little sound machine, and I like the Hatch Baby because it has a corresponding app, and so you can actually adjust it from your phone. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, you can adjust the volume, the color of it, even the sound of it. You can totally customize it, and then you can save it, like make a preset almost, and save your favorite like color and sound and like noise level combinations. I I just really like this. I'm not gonna lie, having it in our room, Christian messes, or having it in their room, Christian messes with it nonstop. Like, he is always turning it on and messing with it, and it's a lot. But as far as newborns go, I think this is like one of the best sound machines. There are more affordable versions, of course, but if you're looking for something that's just a little more fun and customizable, I've heard great things from other people about it, and we've had a really good experience with the Hatch Baby as well. Another item I wanted to mention is a diaper pail. Some form, I'm not gonna go into every item in the nursery. I did do my whole nursery tour. If you're curious, I'll put it up here. But as far as diaper pails go, I would definitely recommend the Munchkin diaper pail. We recently tried the Ubi, I think is how you say it. Not a good situation with a toddler. I've heard it's fine for newborns, but with a toddler, you don't want to know. So the Munchkin, we really like. Of course it smells when it gets full and, you know, whatever, I don't know, we don't need to get into all the details of it, but I do really like that as a diaper pail in general. We've had it since we had Christian, and 2+ years later we're still using it for our new baby. And then I would recommend getting these diaper pail refill bags. These are the kind that snap like this, like they're the snap and seal ones. They also make like a ring of diaper bag that is just like one big continuous trash bag, and then you cut it at the bottom, tie it yourself, and it's supposedly you get more bags out of it. For us and everyone I know who's tried them, it's just a big headache because you're constantly like cutting more than you need, or it's hard to, it's just like messy, and you end up wasting a lot of the plastic bag. And so I would spend like 18 bucks on a ring and get like 2 bags out of it. With this, it's 20 bags for 18 bucks or so, which seems expensive. Every time I buy a box, I'm like, it kills me, but it's so useful. It's just one of those things we have to do in our house. So the Ubi is beneficial because you can use any kind of garbage bag with it, which is great. But the overall general use of it just didn't work for us. So I really like the Munchkin, would highly recommend if you're looking for a diaper pail for yourself. And then I would recommend the Snap and Seal bags too. Next up, a couple more essentials. I only have a few more left. I know this video has been super long, but hopefully it's been helpful. But I want to talk a little bit about like medicines, I guess. They're not medicines, but like tummy reliefs and things like that, and then a couple diapering favorites of mine. So when it comes to tummies, there's not a lot you can give a newborn. Breast milk is going to be great for your baby, but they're also going to be then ingesting everything that you eat. And as I've talked about with Arlo, it's been a learning curve because Lord knows that baby cannot tolerate anything Mama's eating, which is fine. Like I said, he just knows what he wants, and it's like not a lot of food. So for him, a probiotic has been really great. I would definitely recommend a probiotic for any baby, actually. Like, we gave them to Christian. They're great for toddlers. They're great for adults. They just help balance the bacteria in your gut so it gets your digestive system to a healthy point. Probiotics are absolutely wonderful no matter your age, but for a newborn, it can really help their tummies adjust to being out of the womb, having milk, having formula, having, you know, pumped milk, whatever it may be. Like, this will just help them adjust and help balance all that out. This is from a company that I worked with recently called Align Probiotic, and they are the #1 doctor recommended probiotics. So I would recommend them as well, but you can also get probiotics at like Sprouts. You can get baby probiotics at Target, wherever you're looking. This is just what we have on hand here. And then gripe water and gas relief drops are also a necessity for us. These are things that are pediatrician okayed as well. So anything before you give it to your baby, definitely check with the doctor, but our pediatrician suggested these for Arlo's colic. Gripe water is just something that it says it relieves gas, colic, hiccups, and fussiness. I actually forgot, we use this for hiccups with Christian all the time. Like, it's something that for whatever reason, you give it to the babies and it like cures their hiccups right away. And you know, if you have a baby who had hiccups a lot in the womb, they will probably have hiccups as a newborn a lot too. So gripe water will really help with that. And then gas drops will just help relieve the gas again. Their little tummies will get all hard and uncomfortable. Gas drops really help ease that too. There's a couple different brands we've tried. The 2 that we have here are by Little Remedies. Again, you can get these at Target, but we've also gotten Mama's Bliss or Mommy's Bliss. We've gotten that in both of these before, and we use that with Christian too, and I like both of them too. And then for diapering, a diaper rash cream I want to talk about is this one by Babo Botanicals. You guys have probably seen me talk about this on Instagram because I've just like fallen in love with it. This little tub is like $11 or $12, but it lasts forever. Like we had one, I think, for over a year with Christian, and it lasts for so long. It's this really like minty kind of ointment cream that if they have a bad rash, this will cure it right away. It works so good. You can also get it on Amazon, but it's their Sensitive Baby all natural healing ointment. And I don't know what it is, but this has just worked really well for both of our boys. When I have a really bad diaper rash I'm trying to fix, I use this in combination with A&D ointment. I put them both on and kind of mix it together, make a little concoction, make a little diaper concoction for them. Sounds awful. But this combination of both of these works really well. So A&D ointment is like my go-to everyday diaper cream. This Babo Botanicals I add in when we need a little bit of something extra, and when it's like 3rd degree, all hands on deck, I use both of them in combination. So would highly recommend. All right, let me just check my list, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so confession, I'm filming this a few hours later because I filmed my whole video, and then I remembered that I completely forgot to talk about this changing pad, and I could not talk about this changing pad. So this is the Kikaroo Peanut changing pad, and to me this is absolutely an essential. It is expensive. I talked about it in my nursery tour video and just talked about how I realize it is a high price point item. This changing pad is a little over $100, which seems crazy, I know, but listen before you start judging. It's amazing because it's just a wipe clean changing pad. So the fabric is like a really squishy, like foam-ish material. There's nothing on the bottom, so it's super easy to take care of. It also comes with straps that can go around it as well. But this thing is just such a game changer. So I used to get, I think they're by Munchkin, I used to get the white changing pads from Target, and we would have really cute covers on them, and they were really like aesthetically pleasing, but the covers were always dirty. Arlo's in here with me now, so you might hear him. But the covers were always dirty. It's like one more thing to add to your laundry. And if I didn't have a cover on it, the white changing pad itself would get stained and icky, and I ended up having to buy multiples of them to replace them. So I probably went through like 3 of those white changing pads, which is $60 or so in itself. This Kikaroo one though, I knew I wanted it when I got pregnant with the second baby, and I'm so glad I got it. It is a game changer. It makes diaper changes so much more like cleanly and easier to clean up. If it gets something on it, it really easily wipes clean. It's super light. The kids actually really like it. Like Arlo loves diaper changes more than your typical baby, I feel like. And I feel like part of it's like this thing. Christian doesn't mind laying on it. It's just amazing. So again, similar to some of the other things I mentioned in this video, if it's in your price point and you feel so inclined, I would highly recommend getting something like this. If it's not in your price point, then the other changing pads are a good option as well. Some form of a changing pad though, and one that is easy to clean, is definitely a necessity with a new baby. Oh, something I also forgot to mention is a bassinet. So a bassinet I wouldn't say is absolutely totally necessary. A lot of people will move a crib from the baby's room into their room if they're sleeping with the baby that way. For us, we use a bassinet in our room, and then we keep a crib right behind me in the boys' room until we're ready to transition Arlo to it. He does nap in his crib or like hang out in there when, you know, we're all hanging out, but he sleeps in a bassinet next to our bed. The one that we have really fallen in love with is the Halo Bassinest. Again, I did a partnership with them, and so it was gifted to me, but I love this one because it has the ability to have the top part actually pop off, and you can take it with you elsewhere. So I really wanted to get my hands on one of those Moses baskets when I was pregnant this time around, and for whatever reason I just never did. But similar to the DockATot or some sort of lounger like that, the bassinet being able to pop off just makes it so that they can be in their bassinet and be comfortable, but in any room of the house, even on the floor of the kitchen, wherever it may be. So I really like that. It also has a sound board for like vibrations and, you know, nature sounds or white noise, and you can adjust the volume. There's a lot you can do with it. And then it has a little caddy on the back to keep diapers and wipes, which we use all the time, because the worst is when he has a blowout in the middle of the night and the only diapers are in their bedroom where Christian's sleeping. So we always try and keep that stocked up. I just really am a fan of that bassinet. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have luck with the standard Halo with Christian. With With him, we just got like the basic. I was like, I don't want to spend any extra money. I just want like the basic bassinet, see how it goes. And it didn't work for him. That's why we moved him to his crib so early. But with Arlo, he really seems to like the Bassinet by Halo too. So I'll have that one linked down below, the one that we use. But some form of a bassinet could really be helpful if you have a newborn too. And then I figured I would mention the Baby Tracker app. I talked about this app in previous videos, but I used it non-stop with my first baby. You can do so much in this app. I did add Arlo to the app. You can actually keep track of multiple kids. So if you have twins or you're just taking care of multiple kids and you want to keep track, you can do that in the app. I didn't really find myself using this app with Arlo because my approach has just been a little bit more different with the second baby. But with the first baby, I was like on it. I wanted to track all the diapers. I wanted to track all the feedings, how long I was breastfeeding for. You can time everything in here. You can keep track of your milk supply in here, which I use it for keeping track of my milk supply because I do use the LV pump for pumping, and then sometimes I'll use a different pump with Kind bags. I always pour the milk from my LV pump into Kind bags, and sometimes I just have milk coming in from different sources. So I keep track of it all in this Baby Tracker app, but it's also great for keeping track of sleep, diaper changes, things like that. I believe it's free. If it's not free, it's like $1.99, but I used it all the time with Christian. Would highly recommend. This is the best like time tracking app for babies in my opinion. I have had no issues with it at all. Okay, and then last but not least, this is not something that is absolutely a necessity, but something I would recommend, and it's some form of a baby book. So I love baby books for keeping track of your little ones, you know? I have Christian's here, like I fill it out as I go along. I started working on it when I was pregnant. I have information on my baby shower in there. I have his school pictures. I have pictures from delivery and his birthday parties and all his first milestones and everything like that. I just love filling this out. And then I got one for Arlo as well, and I've started to fill that out. One of the things that the baby book is great for that I talked about in my hospital bag video, but we actually have both of their, see if I can find it. We actually have both of their feet prints, their initial footprints from the hospital in their baby books. And so I think that is so sweet to keep track of. And then there's pages in our baby book to keep track of every time we go to a doctor's appointment. We can put their height and weight and you can see how they're growing. But when you have a newborn, like now is the time to start on something like this so that, you know, when your kid's 5 or 6, you're not looking back trying to think of everything, but you can really document how it feels for you, how it feels for the baby, and what life is like right now too. So I'll have these ones linked down below. They actually come in gray, blue, and pink, so you can get it however you would like it. But some form of a baby book would highly recommend as something to, you know, document this special time. All right, guys, and that is it. I know this was a lot, and it's like I said, it's funny because I don't think I used anything with this baby, but clearly there are some things that I view as essential. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you are expecting or a brand new mama, then congratulations to you. All my fellow pandemic mamas out there bringing life in during this crazy time, I'm with you. Hang in there. And yeah, let me know what you guys would like to see from me in the future, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Bye.